Hello everyone and welcome to this revision video for Unit 7D on ecosystems. It's all about why do populations change. So what does the word population mean? Well, the word population means the numbers of an organism, so the numbers of a particular species. In this case, I'm going to give you some examples in relation to zebras. So there are some photos on the next few slides just to help you remember the different factors that can affect the size of a population. So here's a picture of a zebra here. It's eating some grass. So one of the things that can change the size of a population is the availability of food. So imagine if there wasn't as much grass for whatever reason for 1 year, the number of zebras in the population would decrease, and vice versa. If there was more grass 1 year, there'd be more grass available for the zebras and their population would increase. There'd be more grass available for growth, for example. What do you think this is showing? So another factor that can affect the size of a population is predation. So lions hunt zebras. A predator is an animal that eats other animals. So here, the lion is the predator and the zebra is the prey. Sometimes we'll see graphs like this. It's called the predator-prey cycle. And you can see if you start from the left-hand side, as the number of zebras increases, the green line, obviously the number of lions will increase because the lions have more food. But then because the lions eat the zebras, there'll be less zebras, so that green line goes down, and so the number of lions will go down. Eventually, because the number of lions is so low, the number of zebras will start to increase again, and this repeats itself over time. How about these pictures? What do these show? Well, these pictures show competition. That's a third way that the size of a population might be affected. Competition is when organisms need the same things. So on the left-hand side, you've got gazelles in competition with zebras for grass. They're competing over the same things. But remember, organisms can also compete within a species. So here we have two zebras which are fighting. Presumably that could be over resources such as food, or it might be over mates. We can often show these first three different ways that populations can be affected in something called a food web, which is a collection of food chains. So here we have grass at the bottom, that's the producer. You then have the primary consumers, the zebra and the gazelle, and then you have a secondary consumer, the lion. So we'd say that that grass to zebra line shows that availability of food affects zebras. Predation is also shown here, and competition as well, because two lines are coming from the same food source. Other factors that can change the size of a population, well, disease is one. Also human impact. So here, humans can have an effect. Maybe they cause habitat loss for a population, or there could be pollution, say the air is polluted here, or there could be hunting, and these can all reduce the size of a population. Natural disasters can have an effect as well. So if there's a drought, for example, that will reduce the food source or water availability, and the numbers in that population will reduce. And finally, we have this other resources category of things that affect a population. So for animals, that would be oxygen, shelter, and water. But we shouldn't forget plants as well. Their populations also vary in size. So for plants, these would be things like light, water, warmth, and mineral salts. Here's a question to get you thinking about this unit in terms of what affects the population size. So have a look at the food web on the right-hand side, and here are some questions. What would happen if the grass dies? What happens if the population of slugs decreased? What happens if the population of insects decreased? Pause the video and have a think. Okay, so let's have a look at each of these in turn. What happens if the grass dies? Well, the grass is the producer. If it died, the consumers that feed on it, the rabbits, the insects and the slugs, as you can see by the arrows here, they would have no food, so they would starve and die unless they could move to another habitat. And remember, all the other animals in the food web would die too because their food supplies have gone. What happens if the population of slugs decreased? Well, if there were fewer slugs, there'd be more grass for the rabbits and the insects because they're competing for the grass. So with more food, those populations of rabbits and insects would increase. However, you can see that the thrush is the predator of slugs. So they would have to eat more insects, which they also eat, to maintain their population. So it's possible that the population of insects might decrease. And this would reduce the populations of voles and frogs because voles and frogs also feed on insects. We call this idea of organisms linked together in terms of the environment by the word interdependence. The organisms rely on each other, they affect each other. And finally, what happens if the population of insects decreased? So if the population of insects decreased, they would be more food for the rabbits and the slugs, so their populations would increase. However, there'd be less food for the frogs and voles above, so their populations would decrease, which means there'd be less food for the foxes and the hawks above them. However, there are likely to be more rabbits and thrushes for them to eat, so their populations might stay the same. As long as you justify your answer in any test or exam question, you'll still get the mark. Just talk it through logically and in order. Well, best of luck, everyone. Good luck with your revision.